Hi everyone. For this I Can with Canvas video, we are going to be discussing how you can use the Google Assignments LTI integration to help you assign work from your Google Drive to your students. Okay, so when you're inside of a course and you go to Assignments, you will click just like any other assignment that you would be starting. You would click the plus assignment button. This could be also done in modules, but basically this works when you're going from creating a new assignment. You're going to give it an assignment name. And any instructions that you would like to provide for the student. And with any other assignment, you will include the points that you might be choosing for this particular assignment, if it's in a specific group, and how you're displaying that grade. So that's all up to you, just like you would any other assignment. For the Google Assignments LTI integration, you're going to select External Tool. So if it's on something else, you may see no submission, online, on paper, but we're going to External Tool. And from here, you're going to click on Find. So this part's not the most intuitive piece, but you're going to just select Find. I find that to be the easiest method to search through the different LTI integrations we have in FUSD. Now you might see Google Drive Cloud assignment. That's the old integration. We still have that showing just until we know how to phase that out the proper way. But the best option for you to select would be the Google Assignments LTI 1.3. And it might take a moment to load. I find that if it just stays on a white screen for a while, I exit out. Just a normal troubleshooting, so I exit out and then do it again. But this worked for me, and it pulled up my FUSD Google Drive account. So I only have this one showing, and so that works. I could switch accounts if it pulled up the incorrect account. Now that I've selected Continue, this is where you're going to create that Google assignment. Google has its own plagiarism originality report. This is new. It's a new feature. You might want to look into this. And you don't have to, though. It's not a requirement for this integration. Now, when I go over down here to File, this is where I'm going to be making a copy of a file. So the file needs to exist already in your Google Drive. So you're going to make a copy of the file. This could be a Google slide deck. It could be a Google Doc. And for this particular example, I will go to just a doc that I have or a slide deck that I have. So again, it can be either a slide deck or a Google Doc. I'm going to add, and now each student would be given a copy of this Google slide deck that I selected, and I see that mentioned right here. You can make the points match. I would make the points match what I have in my Canvas account for this piece. There is a way to add rubrics from Google. You may want to explore this option. You could create one. Maybe you have a rubric already, or import from Sheets. So there is a way to make rubrics. You don't have to select that again. You might be choosing to use rubrics from Canvas. So again, not a necessary step, but that is an option there for you. All right, now I'm going to save. And on this next part, I'm going to show you, it looks like nothing happened. And this threw me off the very first couple times I tried this. I thought, well, nothing happened. It didn't work. Well, although this part's not the most intuitive, it actually did work. So hopefully Canvas can update this part, but for now, this is what we've got. It did work. I encourage you to just say select. Now you can see that there's a URL that was entered into here that indicates that there was something that came from this LTI external tool that I selected. Again, you get to select the different settings you would like, just as you would in any assignment you were creating in Canvas. And now I'm going to save. For my own self here, I'm going to save and publish. And that assignment now shows up. For the teacher, I see an integration, and this still looks like Google. So those of you who are Google Classroom people out there, that as I was, this looks familiar, and it looks like a Google product, which it is. So you can see the points that I have here, all the settings I did, and then submissions will come through. But you'll also notice that you have the speed grader here as well from Canvas. I'm going to go in on my iPad and try and submit something. This is not the easiest thing to test, because although I can go in as a student on my iPad, so if you're familiar with testing as a student using the student app on Canvas, Google, because it's an integration with Google is still going to try and be signing in as you. So I don't think that you're going to be able to really truly test this without using like a colleague or somebody else as a student who might be able to test it out for you if you're really curious what the submission looks like. If you're not comfortable with having students try it out and see what happens, you may want to have a colleague or somebody join your Canvas class as a student and submit a practice submission for you to check it out. Again, because Google will still be confused because it's your device trying to sign in as yourself, even though you're actually the teacher. So now I'm going to show you what it looks like from a student view. Again, I had to get a different account to test this out so that it wasn't trying to link with my teacher Google account. So I'm using Air Server to show you the screen from my iPad. And the student, to be testing this out, will now see the assignment that I created. And now for them to actually see the Google slide deck that I added, the student will be clicking Launch External Tool. And because this is the first time that this student has logged in to Google on this device or through this Canvas account, they're going to have to sign in. So I'm going to get the student signed in and I will show you how the assignment looks for them. Okay, so once the student enters their password, same single sign-on as Canvas, they will be asked to link their Google account. So linking the Google account is safe. This is going to be needed. But once this is linked, they shouldn't be getting this message anymore. So it's a nice step to have done. So this basically just allows Canvas to look into the student's Google Drive. It's a handshake authentication. So I'm going to go ahead and say link. All right. Now that I have linked it, now I see the Google slide deck that came up from the teacher. So from the teacher side, the same assignment we gave now shows the student can open it. And since this is a Google slide, I have, as a student, the Google Slides app on my iPad. oh, actually it's trying to take me over to the web-based version. So it's keeping me through through Safari. So the student may have to sign in again, may or may not. This step they might not have to do. Okay, so now the student is signed in. This may have happened because when I selected sign in the first time, I said it did not need to remember my sign in. Regardless, students may have to sign in once or twice, but once that handshake is established, it should keep them signed in and not have to do that every time. As you can see, I do have the option to go to the Slides app. That's what it's asking me right now, but working through Safari is fine. And now this is a copy that the student has. So anything that's done in this slide deck is done by the student. It's a copy of the one I created. So this is unique to each student. So, oops, and I'm going to put it over here. There we go. Example student. Now, I'm done working on this. If you're familiar with Google Slides or other Google products, there's really no save that has to take place. This just lives in my drive, and any content I add to it will remain. So as a student, I'm going to go back to Canvas now. And I'm going to navigate back to my assignments in my course. And now I can choose to submit the assignment. So that assignment is linked. I can choose to submit it. Oops, I'm sorry. I have to get on the correct one. There we go. So it did want me to launch the external tool. But now, because again, that work has been completed, it's holding on to that, I can just go ahead and submit from here. It asks me, are you sure you want to submit? Okay, all set. Now they did give the student option, that's interesting, to unsubmit. So if the student's like, I gotta change something on there, they can unsubmit it too. Alrighty, so now I'm gonna switch back over. I'm gonna stop sharing my iPad. And let's take a look at what it looks like from the instructor's view. So I'll refresh this page. Let's see if it shows that we have a submission now. All right, and we do have a submission. Awesome. I'm going to take a look over at SpeedGrader. I just honestly want to check this out. Okay, so I think we need to actually, I'm not sure if SpeedGrader is going to do it. So now let's look at it from here. So you may be doing your grading from the Google Assignments, it looks like. So this one you wouldn't necessarily do SpeedGrader. It will be done through Google. But you can see that it was embedded. It was easy to get to. And now I see the work that the student added. I can give them the point that I feel that they earned, and I can leave some other feedback. I can, so leave the comment, okay, and I can also leave comments within the document just like other Google tools. So those of you, again, out there familiar with Google, this is going to look familiar to how you've collaborated with colleagues or students before using Google products. So I could leave comments in the document itself. Alrighty. And then I can return it when I'm done. So then the student, I'm returning it back to the student. And we'll see what happens when that's done here. Awesome. And if I believe if I had other submissions, oh yeah. So other students, if I had other students in the class, I could toggle between those. So it's simple to just navigate in between students so I don't have to jump out back in. So that's a neat feature that Google has. Again, familiar to Google Classroom. I Love getting to see those common features that look like Google Classroom. All right. And that is how you can do a Google assignment with students from your Drive, making a copy for each student using the Google Assignments LTI integration.